Hello and welcome to the Wikipedia Weekly Network, here where Albin Larsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata Live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. I imagine I might say it for the few next week, but autumn has really happened here, and the colors outside are lovely and so on. But the garden is still going and all of that, so it's a really nice time of the year. Maybe my favorite. How are you, Jan?
I'm good as well, and it's not as much autumn here, but it is coming. I was avoiding taking a short swim today because it was a little bit cold, but
Oh,
we had the lovely sun, so I was almost tempted. But there were no other people there on the pier, so I would have been alone. And then, let's skip it.
right.
Yeah. What do you have planned for today in editing?
Um, I am today continuing on what I did last week and making a longer sentence. So we built a small sentence with Wikidata, and today we're building on that same sentence, but making it longer and more complex. Maybe we have tackled one of the big challenges, but let's just see where we can take it. And you,
Nice.
Jan, what are you up to?
We usually ask people like, "Hey, what would you like us see to do, and what take up something specific?" And I actually got a request this week. Can we take up and like how you think about qualifiers when you query for them? So I was gonna, and we have queried qualifiers like frequently, but we haven't really like focused in on it and talked about why we need to do it. Sometimes I think we have mentioned it, but let's do a little bit of a deep dive to that. So
Right.
because it's a little bit of a tricky area to get into.
Yeah, indeed. It's not obvious.
No. So let's start with where do I want to start? I think let me start by sharing my screen. Perhaps that might be a good place to start. If I add it there. And here, I'll switch this to Swedish. No, it is in Swedish. Let's switch this to English. Why can I not press this? There we go. Took some time.
Yeah, I think it loads a lot of like JSON files or something like that.
Underneath.
Yeah.
So here's the item for Wikidata's 10th birthday. And we have this way to actually create a map where we have location for events related to this and qualified with time and official website. So here we can see qualifiers being used. And the question is then, well, how do you query for these? And I like to think about this with the help of a little bit of a graphic that is on Wikimedia Commons. That's, I think this one has been around for a really long time. Well, it's from 2016, so not super long. And maybe I can bring this up in full screen like this. Maybe even there. There we go. And this looks a little bit cryptic, but if we look at what's in the circles, at least we can somewhere recognize something we like WDQ1234. This is like the item that we are used to access, and that's also like what we think about as the item, and it's sort of like the container for everything here. And then the arrows are pointers to other things in this Wikidata item, which on the arrows you can see some, should we call them identifiers? Or no, it's not really an identifier, but it is a, is this a prefix? or is it the identifier?
Yeah, it's both technically.
Yeah. So this, and the one we often use in our queries like regularly is this WDT, which gives us the truthy value of something. And it's a sort of a shortcut to get directly from the item to what's probably the value that you want. it's sort of like a little bit of a handy tool for us. And
Yeah,
then there are some other more intricacies here. So like if you want to get into specific, and that's where you need to go if you want to go to get the qualifiers. But if you see the arrows here, you can, for each of these, behind the colon, there would be a property identifier. Yes, yes. I sacrificed a lot of hours to this. Yes, that's what you need to do. And I bring this up a lot sometimes, like, and especially when you need to query for references, because that's also another step further. But you usually, like, if you want to say call for something that is instance of, it's WT and then P31, which is the ID for instance of, and then you will get the value for it. But you can also get to it by going with the, and here's the cases are important. You have to go with lowercase p, P31, and then you get the statement node, I think this is called, which
yeah,
contains a lot of things. And from there, you can go also with the PS and get the value again. So you can take this the round trip to it, or you can take the short trip to it. But if you want to get the qualifier value, you need to go this way around. There's no shortcut for it yet. I don't see it's been discussed either. So I think this is what we will need to do.
yeah. I don't think there is a technical solution for doing it other way, because that would be like a really odd RDF triple, so to say.
Yes, yes. So this is what we sort of need to do. So when we do query and we want to get the qualifier value, we first need to sort of get this statement, even if we're not really, or the statement node, even if we don't care about like the ID of the statement node, but we need to tell the query service, here is this statement node, and then give me the value for the qualifier. So that's sort of the round trip we need to do. And I'm going to come back to this, but now we sort of looked at the theory for this, and let's check how we do this in practice in the query service. So let's head over to the query. And hopefully this remembered the size decently, at least. Yes. Let me switch this to English again. I'll take some time here. It's loading all this JSON again. Am I on a really slow bandwidth today? Is it my streaming that's hogging it? And now I click twice, and now it's going to disappear. It's going to blink here when it gets to it. All right, now I can. Ah, there we go. So it blink. Maybe it's going to be quicker this time because it loaded it. Yes, there we go. English. There we go. All right. So I'm going to start with something using control space to get this little list. I'm going to go with my classic here. Here's where I like to start. Item and item label. Maybe that's not where I want to go. Let's see. Oh, well, let's go with that. And I want to try to get some of these things in the Wikidata's 10th birthday. So I'm going to need this ID. So we're going to tell the query service I want to work on this item. And then I want, and now we'll go back here. Usually I would just say, give me with WDT P31 to, no, not P31. This was location. What is that? P276. But now I also wanted the times and the point in time and the official website here. So then I'll go back here. So I know I need to go to P to get the statement, and then I'm going to go with the PQ. So let's go back here again. P276. And then I'll just call this statement. And then from statement, I'll go with a PQ. Let's check that again. PQ, yes. And now, since this have several different ones, I need to specify which one of these I want. So I want the point of time, and that's 585. So let's start with that. P585. Let's call that time. And then we'll go like this. Nothing with label for now. Well, maybe it is. Let's go with time and time label and see what we get. Because I think the time was, no, this is no label. This is it. So let's go with time there. Let's just see if we get the things. So we can see here. Oh, it's hard to understand because there's three of the same, but we see we have one 29th of October. We have one 29th of October. This is start time, end time, 29th. So it should be 3 with 29th of October. So it seems to be correct. Now I didn't get the actual place to this. So I could either go here then WDT with some value as well. But since we already had this statement, we can use this other thing. So we can try to get PS here. So, and then I'll just go here. So we had the PQ, we go with the PS, and then this was location, and we'll call that location, I think. And this one's gonna be easier to understand if we do with a label. Like this, I think will give us something. Hopefully just 3 results again, because that's the only one. Yes, here we go. So now we can see location with the identifier and also the label. And you see, I didn't use the WDT here. I could go there directly from the PS. So I took this round trip around to get there. And then, of course, if I want to get some of these other things here, like if I want the official website and the refined date to get the time, we can do just the same here. So we can just stick them on. And I'm working on the same statement here. So this is the base. So let's go with another qualifier. And point in time we already had. So now we want the official website. Let's see, PI856. Let's call that website. And then we want the refined date, PQ date there. This is a little bit funny. I'm going to change here. So I'm going to call the first one, I'm going to change that one to date because that is a date. Second one is actually, it's called refined date, but it is a time in this case. it's actually a Wikidata item, which means that I want to get the label for this to actually be able to read the time. So let's see.
Oh.
So here
When
we
I
had,
when I saw it just earlier today on your screen, I was like, I wonder how that works.
yes.
Oh.
Let's go with this and let's see. Hopefully just 3 rows again, but with a little bit more. Yes, so here we go. So now we got the website and we got the time, which is an item for 800. So we do have items for all the hours in the.
But is it like time zone specific?
No, this is just generic. So if you want to be very precise, you will have to add the time zone to it as to.
Right.
So actually here, this is a little bit ambiguous. So you could add here time zone because that's located in time zone where this
Oh.
event would be, and then you would say, I think this 8 o'clock is actually UTC, so you will say UTC here, or coordinated user. But you could also do local time if you'd like to. But
Yeah.
this is what it is right now. I'm not going to add that here now.
Oh, that's nice. Although it feels almost like it should be a qualifier on the qualifier.
Indeed. And I guess this, like, technically these dates can hold time, but it's also very confusing how we could use it. So for now we don't. So everything that is in dates are or like using the point in time is actually time zone agnostic, and all the hours are ignored, I think, for everything for now. And I think we could sort of see this if we do. Let's try here. This is a little bit off my topic, but it is still interesting. So if we bind here the string of the date as string date and look at it. So let's add that here. Just to have a look, we can see this. This is like basically exactly from the definition of, I think it's ISO 8601 or something like that, a standard for the times, where this last thing actually says which time zone it is. But we also see it's 000 and everything. So but here we could store times if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But it has this, like, it's sort of really easy to make errors because people are in different time zones, and what are you entering, and making a nice interface that if I enter something happening in a specific hour, am I sure I enter it in some way and then see it? And yes. But I guess eventually we will sort this out. I hope we will, but
And then they change how time zones work, and then we are back to square one.
well, I'm guessing here's perhaps how it's going to be saved in the database, and then how we do it with the interface is like everything happened at a specific hour in the past. So yes, but yes, for now this is what it is, and this is what we'll actually see and use. A little bit off topic, but this is essentially how you get, and now this is a little bit might be more clear to do it like this. So with the PS, you get the value of the statement, and with the PQs, you go to the qualifiers. So that's how you can think about it. And I really think like this simple diagram, it helps me so often to think about this, because every once in a while you forget about how you did it, and I'll go back to this, and then for some time I'm in the flow, and I'll just do it without thinking, sort of like, I need to get the statement, and then I need to get the qualifier value, and just do my queries very quickly without thinking. So sort of taking this
Yeah.
unconsciously almost after a while, and I
We
guess
should
that's why.
really.
Yeah.
This needs an update, I just realized, because we have an auto shortcut nowadays. We got
Oh.
the VDTN namespace as well for getting like
Oh.
full URI some things. But I
All
realized
right.
if this was from 2016, that feature is actually slightly newer, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
All right. Yes.
there might be more as well. But
I was
super
gonna,
nice indeed.
yeah, and I was gonna say, I think that's because when we're in the flow, and when I prepare these, I our streams, I've usually done the query a number of times during the day, and so I get into like the flow already. So it's just in my mind at the time, and we might go over it a little bit too quickly when we stream. So I think this was a good request to actually step back to really to the basics here, how you can think of this.
Yeah.
And I noticed one very neat thing also. So we do have this new query builder here, which is rather, oh no, this is, where do I change the language here? I can't change the language here. All right.
Oh really?
Maybe, it says use
Yeah.
language here, so I can change it there. There we go.
Oh nice.
Right. So let's say I want to do something here. I want just something very simple. I want all the items that are about. There is a Wikidata item. It's because I know we only have one of those. I'll go with the instance of, and I want it to match the value of Wikidata item. Here we go. I don't want to include this, so I just want this, and let's run this. I don't need to limit it. Run the query. And hopefully it'll show us we have one item about the item Q42, of course, because that's been used in so many examples that it has become shown in the media. But now here's the interesting thing. So if we go to see this, how the query builder builds up their query, you'll see here that it uses the P and the PS. So the query builder doesn't do the WDT by default. It always goes this. So, and it feels a little bit roundabout, but it might also be sort of like technically correct, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I would say the same.
yeah. So this is also a way to see how it's actually is constructed in the in Wikidata, in the RDF model of it. And I'm not sure. I wanted to do one edit here as well on the, just showing you, like, since we're talking about qualifiers, and this is Wikidata live editing, I wanted to add at least one thing of these. So I was looking here and I saw, is there some easy one I could add? And I think this Oslo one is going to be easy, because it's just October 29th. It starts at 12. It's in Oslo. So that one we could add. So I'm going to go to the item here, add the value. So here we go for location. So let's start with Oslo. Then we want to have a point in time. And that's going to be 2022 09 22 29. 29. Let's double check here. Yes. And then we're going to do. So this says 12 CET. That's a little bit odd.
Indeed.
Because I don't think they are like they. I think Norway is also changing on the 30th to CET. They're going to be on CST. So I think this is an error by. So I'm going to go with that. Like it's going to be at. This is probably supposed to be 12 CEST, which would be 10 UTC. And if someone. This can also be changed. We're a little bit early. So refine date. There we go. So I'm going to go with 10 here. So this is actually an item. I could go with second here, but let's keep with this.
Yeah.
And then I think they also had a link. Oh, yes. So I see people in the chat. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mahir and Lusanna.
Good catches.
Yes. And then we had the official website. And we had a value for that in here. This was a link. Yes. So I'll copy link. Too many tabs. Here we go. That seems also like an odd. We don't need to do it like that. We can do NO immediately here. That would be better.
Oh.
I guess that's because it's on Wikidata.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's catching it. Thank you. But now it's right here. And I think this. So let's go with publish on this. And now this gives a warning, and that's of course location is not supposed to have a point in time. And so this is sort of a little bit of a hack on the Wikidata 10th birthday event to force it in here. And a reason to do it like this is that now it actually enables a map. So let's have a look at that map. And we used to have only powered. We used to have 2 items here, but I guess if I go no, didn't.
No, I think you need to at least reload it, maybe even more.
Let's force reload it here and see what it does. If it gets something new, it might also be that it's strongly cached.
Yeah. No, but no.
It didn't get the Oslo on.
No, if you open the.
Let's try this.
Screen?
Yeah. Nah.
Okay, but it will pop up.
It will pop up, but we could also do it. I think if I do a preview here, it might.
Oh, maybe yeah. That should ignore it. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a show preview here and see if it runs it again. No.
That's interesting.
Maybe if I just go add this nice space
has
here.
This exactly, just as you do in the Wikidata query service.
Yeah.
I think that will do it. But it's
no,
there is some type of URL you can visit as well to clear it.
Yes. So now we forced it to actually, this is a new query. I don't have this one cached. And it could see, and let's see if I added it. Yes. So now this actually pops up here with a nicely formatted link to the event in the map. And this one was also added. I just added it recently. So if we pass the time, they're going to turn red. So we have green for future events, and red one's going to be past events, because we have them spread out all over them, almost like a month here. I think we're already past some of them, but not everyone has added it to the event
So
yet.
someone will need to add the space and the space and the space in that query to
Well,
make it work.
perhaps, but I'm not sure how often this updates, or
Oh, the
that's an
cache is
interesting.
quite long on maps.
The question. All right. So
Um,
all right. And would like a purge of the page action equals purge, would that do it, or is it a separate cache somewhere else?
yeah.
Hmm.
But there is like a URL parameter, just like on wiki pages, like purge cache.
Mm-hmm.
It's something similar.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Um, it might be in the documentation, it might not be.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Something I need to go to learn. But anyway, that was sort of like what I wanted to show to you today. So, like how this works and how it's actually sort of connected and how you can think about it. And as you already see here, like if you want to get to the reference, you will actually have to take one extra similar step to get to the reference node, and then you can then get the reference value. So it's a little bit of a roundabout, but it works.
Before we move on, Nicholas has a great point here because the
Yeah.
shortcuts here, the P and PS, does not see this rank. So usually we can just catch the preferred value with
Mm-hmm.
VDT. And this is a really good point because it also means that the query builder doesn't really work the same way as you would expect the normal queries to work.
Yeah.
Because the query builder ignores ranks.
Yeah. And as Nicholas follows up with uh, the normal one that we usually use, and which you sort of expect, gives you, if it has a preferred value, only gives you the preferred values, and if it doesn't have preferred values, give all the normal rank values, and it never gives you the deprecated values.
Exactly.
Which is not, now I also sort of like that it's truthy. It's not truth, it's truthy.
Yeah,
it's
and it's not very transparent to like new users either.
no,
So
but it's useful. It's useful. It's a nice
indeed,
shortcut.
indeed. So I'm gonna change my screens around a little bit, but then we will jump into the next thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna start very much where we left off last time with this query in which we are building a sentence. So if we just try to read this, we try to say what type of government Sweden is governed by. So if I would run this, it would say Sweden is the constitutional monarchy and representative democracy. So we have made a small sentence, and last time we spent quite a bit of time on ensuring that this is a list which can be comma separated. So if we would have three items here, it would say constitutional monarchy, comma, representative democracy, and followed by something. So it can deal with lists. But now I think we just want to build on this. Maybe we want to make it a longer sentence. Maybe we want to make it a second sentence and build a little paragraph. So that's what we will do. And I have taken a note of some like properties I feel like we could continue this sentence with. For example, there is the member of property, because I think it could be highly relevant to say if a country, for example, is in the European Union, or if it's in some other overnational type of collaboration in that way. And the reason we're making sentences like this is because on Gov directory, which is driven by SparkL, we got those country pages, but they do not really contain a lot of information about the country itself. So I'm hoping to bring in some of the interesting knowledge for the user of Cov directory. So for example, the type of government is highly relevant. And this member of, we can have a look at it in a moment, is also one of those highly relevant things. There is also a property for democracy index, which I would like to include here. But let's have a look at Sweden to see what this member of look like. So here we go. We can see that we do not use instance of, which is a bunch of various things to say this is a country. We got part of, which holds a lot of things. It's like Northern Europe. That's geographically interesting. Should maybe not be there. We got an old union from many years ago. We got an older union from not that many years ago. And then we got the European Union and so on. But we do have this member of instead, which I think is more precise and better for a use case. So let's see here. We got a geo shape, highest point. This is the basic form of government we're currently using. And the head of state, head of government. I'm going to search for it. Member of. And then we got European Union, United Nations. But we got a lot of things here, like European Space Agency and all kinds of things, Nordic Battle Group, and some things with I think like all of these are relevant. So I would like to cherry pick them to say only if one of these are in, they are a member of one of those really important ones, show it. To make it a little bit more relevant and to make one big list with all of this. So we're gonna need to make that cherry picking happen. And the way I often do that is by doing a values list. So we can say here orgs and then list the values. So if we say I want the European Union to be one of them, I want the UN to be one of them, United Nations. There we go. And let's start like that. It's super basic, not at all of them I wanted. But given that, we should be able to select only those. So here we select the basic form of government. Then we say country, EDT, and then member of. There we go. And if we just say orgs here, we can't really, it doesn't really do much. It mostly acts as filtered and it checks if it's in one of those and would return them if that's the case. So I need to do this in a different way. So let's select this value so we can work with it and then figure out how we now can take advantage of this. So how can we check if these ones are in here? And one way to do it would be to do like a bunch of if, else, but that seems a little bit overkill. Another way would be to split it out into separate query. Let's see here. Let's start by running it and see what we got to work with here. So from this I want to select member of. The orgs I just want to use for the filtering in here. And let's pass that through the entire query so it ends up in here. We got a server because I have some group by issue. I'm guessing, yeah. But here we got a blank value. And we duplicated this. Did I do something terrible? Terrible might be a hard word, but what's going on here? That's really interesting. Why? But here we can see the list in action, actually, that we got a list of 4 items, and it still just replaces the last comma with an and. So a positive thing out of a broken query. But why did it behave that way? That's really odd. Or it likely have a logical reason. So it essentially takes this group concat and have a form of government label twice. Let's see. One way to debug things, if you just added like 2 sections like I here, is to comment out a part of it and see if that's the thing that results in the error. Now it complains over org up here not being bound, I imagine.
No, it's the group by. You comment it out, and you have the member of up in the select.
Oh, yeah, right. And this is also this comment out is why I sometimes write my queries with parameters on a new line like this, because it makes commenting things out much easier. But it's hopefully not necessarily here. So now we got one result, and I commented out some parts, but I can still see this issue that we got duplicates here. So that means that the changes I made here isn't the cause of it. So then I continue until I can narrow down what it is. So for example, here I could comment out, is it because I have another column here or something? I don't think so, but let's try. No, we still got 4. This is really odd. This is slightly spooky.
Is it that the values with 2 orgs makes you get 2 double lines, double rows as a result? And that sort of feeds into it?
Let's see. We will continue to comment things out. It seems to be something like that. You're on something. So let's backtrack to that. Here we go. I can actually drop this for now, because that's not the way forward. And let's see, even if I do not select that one, we still, no, I broke something.
It's the member of group by again.
Yeah, so we still got 4 here, but so it must be this label service. Country, we just get the country name, basic form of government. I don't see how orgs should interfere here. This is really strange. So another trick here would be to just run this query in a separate query service window. to see what this inner query itself does. So we can see we got this comma separated list. We can see Sweden, we got 4. I'm just going to try to reproduce the issue here by commenting that out. Now we got no matching records. But how is that possible? Because if I comment out it here, we still get one result. But here we don't get any.
That's odd.
That's really odd. It's getting more and more spooky.
If you comment out the entire values.
Yeah. Then it should work, I imagine. Yeah. So if I have an empty values here, it won't return anything. Interesting. Slightly too interesting. What happens if I move that to the end? No, it doesn't change anything. Yeah, orgs test with one value. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's do that. Oh, with one value it works. That's really odd. What if we try it with a second value of some order? Let's try it completely unrelated. That's really odd. That's yet another behavior. Now we get a line, but we still have this issue with multiple.
If you throw in a third.
Let's throw in a third.
All right.
Maybe we are constitutional monarchies, y'all.
I'm more for the representative democracy.
Yeah, but we could be both here if I count it right. Okay, so this item is the European Union. Is it just the UN item? Oh, yeah, that's a neat trick. But it doesn't explain. It wouldn't help me explain here. So now I added back.
Did we lose Albin, or is it my connection? I think we lost Albin, and now he's back. Maybe. I see two frozen Albin's here. Let's see if we get the third one. I don't want to kick anyone either, because that might make it hard for him to return to it. Let's see if it... Right, there's one actually losing connection, the one with the shared screen. And... yes. No, we don't need to be... Oh, right, all right. We don't need to deep freeze us here. All right. So while we're waiting for Albin, I wanted to share. I think I shared this one in the stream or in the comments before. But let me also share you the link so you can find to this, because I find this as a highly... Wait, what? Now everything is...
And now I'm back.
Now you're back.
That's really odd. I'm afraid StreamYard kicked me out
Aha.
and appeared to be down for a while. Let's see.
All right. I
So
managed to do some strange thing on comments meanwhile. It might be that StreamYard is having some sort of thing, because my browsers are also acting up. What can I click? We lost him again, yes. And now I think he's gonna come back.
I'm trying to, but I imagine I will need to round off because it appears to be on StreamYard's end and not on my end today.
Yes.
So I can't
I
really
also
fix
have
it.
some trouble with my browsers right now.
Oh, yeah, because I have been able to sit here and run this query over and over again while StreamYard has been
Yeah.
offline.
Yes. So a bit of a weird ending to this today in the middle of the thing, but I guess we're gonna come back to this again later. At least we had a good run with the qualifiers. Oh, now I see you again moving.
Yeah, now I'm back temporarily. I'm gonna make sure to share the buggy query so at least people can see that.
Yes.
But then I will need to pick up at an auto point because
Yes.
I'm afraid I...
And we'll be back as normal, hopefully with better connections next week. But until then, happy editing. And